Hello and welcome to episode 232 of the Solo on Sci-Fi podcast. I'm Michael Ball. I'm joined this episode with Malcolm Patterson. Hello, Malcolm.
Hello.
Hello, matey. No Martin for this episode. He'd like to have joined us, but he's got personal commitments, as we always normally do. We always have things going on. So, Martin, you're missed, but we hope you enjoyed this one. Now, this week we're going to be reviewing The Mist from, I think it's 2007, I think it is. I'll get the details up when we get to it. I always meant to review this episode with Martin. And this has been going on for years, and we never got round to doing it. I don't know whether it's because Martin's not quite so much into the horror genre as I am, and I think you're relatively into it as well, aren't you?
Horror's a difficult one to pull off. I'm not a massive fan of just spraying blood.
Yeah. You mean you could have a coherent story, is what you're trying to say. Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, there's a lot of shit affiliated with it. Where it literally is just gore fest. And I'm not into that either, because there's a lot of shit in the genre, but there's also a lot of good stuff. But you gotta kind of differentiate the shit from the good stuff. That's my perspective. You know, you think of things like The Thing and all sorts of things which are really, really good, although that's more science fiction. But before we go to that, have you anything in your end that you've come across sci-fi wise? I know that you've been watching Voyager, and I know you've seen it before, but I don't think you said you've seen it for quite a long time. You are now at the end of season 2. Right, yeah, that's right. You said you saw the later ones. Season 4, 7 and 9 era onwards, but you haven't gone back to the beginning for quite a long time. Is that right?
Not often. So as you say, I've just gone through season 2, so I'm into season 3 now.
So it's interesting because obviously this will be the first time you've seen this since all the Alex Kurtzman contemporary Trek that has been pumped through the airwaves over the last 9 years, which is coming to an abrupt end relatively soon, from what we gather, although it's not confirmed. So, first of all, have you enjoyed it, and how do you see it in respect of what you've seen with the more modern Trek?
I am enjoying it more than I did when it first aired.
Right.
As I say, I was one of those who was on the verge of bugging out before they brought in 7 of 9. To be honest.
Really, you're that kind of that level.
Yeah, and now I've gone back and I've seen that there are some cracking episodes in there. There are some good episodes, and I can also see why there was so much bad blood when 7 of 9 was brought on board. Yeah. Because I'll get to these ones later on, but a lot more. I would say 7 of 9 centric episodes account for at least half of the upcoming episodes. At least half. Yeah. And when your main cast is something like 8 to 12 people, to have one person
taking the reins,
you can see that it's not good.
I mean, you're probably well aware that there were some issues allegedly between Kate Mulgrew and Jerry Ryan during some of the filming in their seasons, which is a shame. I think that, but you can understand from the cast when they've been on the show for three whole seasons they completed, and then Jerry Ryan came on. It's not Jerry Ryan's fault. She was cast. They wanted to change the direction. It's nothing against Jerry Ryan either. I think she's a great actress, and I loved her role. But you can understand how it shook things up a bit, and how it changed the direction of the show. You know, and that's regrettable.
I mean, a lot of these people have spent B'Elanna Torres, Tom Paris, 3 years of character arc building up to then get effectively sidelined.
Yeah,
which is what they were. Kate Mulgrew, I mean, she hit the ground running, I think, as did Robert.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they were both great from day one. So
yeah, I agree.
They were just very good. Chakotay, I'd still want to put my fist through the screen every time he appears. He is arguably one of the worst characters in any TV show that I can think of.
But it's not the actor so much, is it? It's more the writing for the character?
Probably not
or
the
do you
actor,
think...
no, it's probably just the way it's written. It's probably just
I mean, from what I understand,
well,
Robert Beltran, by about season 5, he just sort of washed his hands with it. He just sort of came into it every day and just put on his tattoo makeup and just got on with it and just got the money. I think, from what I understand in earlier seasons, he really had wanted to sort of push his character and go in some interesting directions based on his Native American heritage from the character. And obviously he's from the Marquis, and he was a commander. His character was actually mentioned in the penultimate episode of The Next Generation, but not by name. Ensign Rowe, or that time Lieutenant Rowe, mentioned about a character who was a commander in Starfleet who left to join the Marquis, and apparently that was precursor to actually Chakotay's character, which I thought was quite interesting.
Okay.
But I just thought that the character, I thought the character himself was very interesting, but he never did anything. You think of Riker, the first officer of Next Generation, and all the things that happened to him, even Kira in DS9, but this is the next first officer character, and he really was pretty wasted.
So rewatching, the biggest thing that they missed out on in his character is him being made first officer and being put in charge of Starfleet personnel. And one thing that really got me, there's a very early episode in season 1, it's not about halfway through, where obviously who's the traitor on board?
Seska, yeah.
And they think it's Lieutenant Carey.
Lieutenant Carey.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Carey.
But it isn't that. Chakotay, when he's decided that it might be Seska, he is immediately, no, absolutely not. No way, Seska would never be her. She'd never do it. I've known her for years. Yeah. Whereas as soon as Lieutenant Carey's name comes in, he's all over it. Fuck him. Let's move.
Yeah. Definitely not. Yeah, nothing to do with
it. They should have made a lot more of that, because if I'd have been fucking Lieutenant Carey, when it all came to light, I would have told fucking Janeway flat on, I am not fucking taking orders from that.
It could have actually, it could have actually had more of an issue. It could have fired up more of a, almost like a discriminational kind of a more adversarial take on the two crews who were supposed to be together. It could have fired things up a bit. It wasn't. It was just glossed over.
A couple of spats of B'Elanna running engineering and all that, but the big one was Chakotay. You could have had half the crew side in with Lieutenant Carey. Lieutenant Carey's now sat in the brig, refusing to fucking do anything or confined to quarters or something, because he will not fucking work with a gun and all that. You could have had all of that. You could have had half the crew with him and half the crew against, and he could have come to a massive head in the season 1 cliffhanger.
I agree.
Season 2, you then get them starting to be in trouble together, forming up, and a little bit of respect. That's how they could have gone with it. Really, it's a shame they wasted the opportunity.
I think also Lieutenant Carey's character, he was in season 1, and then he just disappeared, and he only then ever appeared, apart from the last episode we saw him, he'd only appeared in time travel episodes. We saw him in an episode where we see 7 and 9 going back to the Voyager literally just coming out. So I think it's still at Utopia Planitia, and he's there, and he's Lieutenant Carey. But then I can't remember the last episode. I think it's a penultimate episode, or very, very near the end of season 7. It's the one where a probe from Earth goes to a planet, but it's radioactive, and it damages the planet. He's then back after all these years, like he's literally been out like in the toilet or something, and they kill him off. Really, really bizarre.
Lon Suda, another cracking character.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
they could have made it. They could have made a good few episodes out of that guy. They could have had. They could have really had him in it a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I know the actor, but I'm sorry, I've got a bit of sleep deprivation. Who plays Suda? I can't remember his name. I do know, but I just can't think of it.
I can't remember the actor who plays him. I will.
Oh fuck! I know it. It was Louise.
He's in quite a lot of stuff. To be fair.
Yeah, and obviously it was with Louise Fletcher who played Kywin in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh yeah. The amount of
Oh yeah, but I watched it recently. But there's about 8 actors. Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, that was good. Lon Suda.
Lon Suda. I'm sorry.
Lon Suda.
Brad Dourif.
Yes, that's it.
Sorry, it's come to my head. I beat you to it. See technology. Sod that. Thanks to technology last night, I got lost in London. I will quickly say that we were going to the Apollo Theatre to see something, and we were supposed to be going back to Waterloo, and we ended up just sent to the wrong fucking train station. So we ended up like in the middle of the night in Guildford. So fuck technology. Sometimes it's that thing between your ears. It's good to access and not look at your phone. No, I'm not going to go at you, Malcolm. I'm just saying personally. I'm getting a bit anti-technology at the moment. I'm just sick of it. I was like in London. Every single
years
person was
ago
like, go on.
when I worked for Waitrose, and I was doing the old reduction just to work it out, and I was using these huge streams of figures. I'm using a calculator to work out the fucking to add them all up, and I worked out. I'm doing like six times 10 in a calculator. I'm doing 7 times, and then I get to the point where I'm doing 1 times 10, and I said, what the fuck am I doing? In the end, I just went back to trying to fucking do it.
You got to think that. It's the same when I drive around. I try to memorize places rather than just depending on the phone and sat navs. Obviously, if it's somewhere unfamiliar, but if it's relatively regular, you're going to come to it. Learn it. Learn that thing. Use your noddle, as it were. So go on. You finish what you're going to say. Go on.
Yeah, Tim Ross in Voyager. Like I say, he was always a weaker character to me, but he does have a couple of cracking episodes.
Didn't you like Innocence, the one with the planet where the children are aging backwards?
Yes. That's what I was just about to say. I thought that was really good. And I do like a gut punch episode that the kids are going to die anyway. I like that. I like a good ending like that.
Yeah.
And the Tuvix one, and nobody goes on it. I am 100% not Team Tuvix. I wouldn't have even hesitated. You'd have been in that fucking transporter and split, mate. I wouldn't have even put it up for fucking discussion. But I do agree with you.
Keep it for an arc. Yeah.
For about fucking half a season, have him save. Make it a tough fucking decision. Have the crew split on the people who.
Or even make it 3 or 4 episodes, because the cast, sometimes like the actors rotate. They could have easily had the actors just not in about 2 or 3 episodes, focused on Tuvix and made him in some. Or maybe he's like more heroic or something. You save people's lives or something. I can't think. And then I
suppose the issue there is it was a different actor. It was neither Tim Russ nor
Ethan Peck. Not Ethan.
Ethan. Yes, I mean it was neither of them.
Not Ethan Peck. What's his name? I can't. Sorry, my head is so fuzzy. The guy. I know him. But I thought the actor that played Tubix was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought he was good.
Yeah, no, he's a great actor.
And it was a very Star Trek-y kind of storyline about what do you do. I get what you're saying, like bollocks to him. It's not, because he's literally bringing 2 people back from 1. Yeah. So it's still. I just thought it was the scene when Janeway is like orders him to sickbay to be literally killed. I just thought that was excellent.
She definitely portrays that was not a fucking easy decision.
I thought it was excellent.
She just made a decision and was sticking to it. That's a high point for her as well. I don't think we've seen any other captain fucking not so much doubting her decision, but not being happy with the decision she has decided is best for the to their crew.
Yeah,
I don't even see anyone else pull that off.
And that to me is pure Star Trek. That sort of quandary is to me, that's what Star Trek is all about. So going back to what you're saying about Voyager, now obviously you've seen a lot of the contemporary stuff. Does the contemporary stuff seem even more shit, or does it seem not so bad compared to some of the weaker episodes of Voyager for you, or does it change your perspective?
I won't jump in with the new stuff is shit, because that just shuts people down when you're listening to you. It is the writing of the new stuff is nowhere near as good as the old writing. It isn't. The storylines are not as good. They're not as in depth. They're not as intelligent. They're not as well thought out. The character building up is not that good. There is no focus on telling coherent stories. The worst episodes of Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, Trek are head and shoulders above the best episodes of Discovery, Starfleet Academy, and even Strange New Worlds, to be fair.
I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, we're not like a hate channel. I mean, we've seen everything. So, and the thing is, you get a lot of hate channels, but I'm not wanting Star Trek to fail in 2026.
No.
I'm not. I just want it. I want to be reminded, or get those quandary episodes, get the things we've just been talking about, which make you think, which stay with you after the episode's finished, after the resolution, even if it's not the best resolution. You don't get that with modern stuff. It's just not there.
Yeah. We've kind of disagreed on this as well, where offline we've disagreed, where you're very much the Doctor Who just needs to fucking finish for 20 years, whereas I'm like, no, I don't want it finished. I want it better. I want it on. I want to be able to watch it every week. I just want it to be good. I want it to be enjoyable. I want it to be intelligent. I want to watch an episode and be fucking wowed by what I'm seeing, not just fucking yawning at the same old trite crap.
But I've just lost faith in it. I've literally, I agree with what you're saying. Well, I don't agree, but I do agree, if you know what I mean. What I'm trying to say is, I just feel like I'm fuck it, bollocks to it. I can't be dealing with it anymore. I just, I can't see it coming back in any recognizable form unless they completely, like they're doing with, potentially doing with Secret Hideout, clearing out all these people who've been doing it over the last 9 years, getting a whole new, fresh bunch of people who know it, can make it right. If they could do that with Doctor Who as well, get rid of Russell T Davies, get rid of Bad Wolf Studios, completely fresh start, I'll be up for it. I'll certainly be cautiously optimistic about it, but I just feel so jaded about it with Doctor Who, and that's my problem. You know,
I mean, like what sums it up is the new Blake 7 remake, which is still not confirmed, but it's looking like it might get further ahead than it ever was before.
yeah.
But the opening line from an interview with the guys doing it in SFX magazine, his opening line is, "We're not making it for the fans." Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh,
Reckon you're coming in saying this,
that is
and
the
then
way to go on.
trying to tell us what the fans actually want was his
Yeah,
next fucking line.
reinterpreting and not
everything wrong with
understanding.
modern stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I know it's a really weird connection, but it was like in The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, where they're trying to transport a test. And they have a slab of meat, and they want to teleport it. And when they teleport it, Gina Davis' character eats it, and it says it tastes synthetic and it tastes bland. And Goldblum's character says, "Look, oh no, we're not making it. We're reinterpreting it and losing something in the process." And that's the way I think that I know it's a weird analogy, but I get their similarity, that they're reinterpreting rather than making what we're after. And they keep doing it again and again. And I get really fucked up with it, because there are so many great people who write this stuff, so many fan films, God, in all these genres, all these big franchises. And why can't they get people like that involved with the official productions? It would work for everybody. They just never seem to do it. Again and again and again. And they never seem to learn. And I don't know why.
Yeah, and there's this whole argument of, oh, well, you need to move on, you need to grow up, the world's a different place, you need to move on. Do you know what, right? There was a reason those shows were popular in the first place. There's a reason Doctor Who was massive worldwide. There's a reason Star Trek was a fucking phenomenon. There is a reason Star Wars just reignited the entire science fiction.
Yeah, the whole genre.
So when your first step is to turn around and go, well, that's old school, we don't forget all that nonsense, the world's moved on, then just make a different fucking show. Stop using their name to peddle your shit.
No, make it a different universe. Make it a different universe. And then that's fine, because that's their universe. But if they want to go back to a well-established universe, make stories which are familiar, understandable in that universe, not completely think, oh, we can't do that, got to get rid of that, got to get rid of that. We'll have Shooty Gatwa as the woke gay doctor and make this Doctor Who a gay show, which Russell T Davies has actually said. I don't particularly want to see a gay show. If people want to watch a gay show, then make a show, science fiction gay show, but don't call it Doctor Who.
I mean, I'll throw in the usual caveat I do, which is, it's not the fact that Ncuti Gatwa's doctor kissed a bloke. Not interested. That's not what's annoying me. It's the fact he kisses anyone. It's the fact that since 2005, when he come back, the guy cannot keep it in his fucking pants.
And the doctor is an alien, asexual. He's asexual. It's nothing about that. He sees humans as a friendly race of creatures that he can have travel with. He doesn't. It's nothing like that. They don't seem to understand. And,
the whole romance thing had nothing to do with anything of why he does what he does.
He's an alien being.
I don't even mind. It's like, oh, it's woke. It's woke. Do you know what? The world needs to be more fucking woke. We need to get rid of Pikachu and all that. It does need to be. And I don't mind it being in the show. I don't mind it being in there. We've always had it in the shows. But what they did was, it was part of the Doctor's character, and it was part of the storyline for him to argue something. It wasn't right, here's the message. We're going to fucking ram down your throat
The
this week.
message, yes.
And then get the T-boys to fucking make a little script that kind of fits in a little bit, which is what they do now. They don't seem to be able to subtly, it doesn't even have to be subtly, they don't seem to be able to coherently mix the message they want to give or the correct things they want to do into the storyline. They don't seem to be able to do it, and it's just so annoying.
I agree entirely. It's a really strange situation. Well, obviously we just had the new Strange New Worlds trailer for season 4. On the time of recording, it was released about 2 or 3 days ago. Have you seen it? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I watched it. There's not much in it really.
No, dinosaurs. There were dinosaurs.
Nothing that made me fucking stand up and go, yeah.
Yeah. It was a bit kind of generic, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm saying. But I'm freely admit I'm looking forward to this a lot more than season 2 of Starfleet Academy. So that's.
I mean, I just with these new shows, like it's season we've waited. Is this one? We waited 2 years for this one to come in.
Was it a year? Was it? I think it was last year, wasn't it?
I just want to go back to how it was. Do you remember when the basics, the end of the season 2 cliffhanger in Voyager? I remember that before. You remember the gut punch at the end when they're fucking stranded on that planet and Voyager
takes off and flies. I love it. Yeah,
nothing. And then you are fucking.
I've got to wait 3 or 4 months to see the resolution of that.
When it's coming on and fucking you're waiting for the show to finish before it, and you're like, come on, and then and fucking yes, now finally we get to see the resolution. Last time on Star Trek Voyager, fuck that recap, just get into the show.
Yeah,
I want to feel like that again when these shows come. And
but also, it's
just not good.
Not just Star Trek, but the gaps are so big that you can't even fucking remember what happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think that's to make them peddle fucking reruns more than anything.
And also, this is why I think a lot of shows, they don't have lots of seasons, because it's such a big gap and people have got lives and commitments that after 2 years, you've just lost interest. It's like, well, what was it? Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. That was that thing like, you just... I don't understand. It's very strange. Why is it that they make so few episodes and there's such a big gap? It's all visual eye candy and badly written stories. And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's very strange. And I think that this is why all these big franchises are slowly dying. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. So can't wait for the new Stargate. Can't wait for it. That's still another, year and a half away?
I read something today that one of the guys involved in it, who was involved previously, and then somebody in the comments said, of the 2 guys doing it, one of them hated the show. And I was thinking, wait a minute, if they worked on the show, why did they hate it? And as near as I could work out from the conversation going on, one of the guys never worked on the show. He only worked on the movie. And he
is Roland Emmerich? Yeah, because obviously the 2 people...
Wright, I think, is it? Yeah.
Well, I know, Brad Wright worked in SG-1. I know Robert Cooper was involved with it as well. But then obviously Dean Devlin and was it Emmerich? They were the ones who did the movie, and they apparently are executive producers in the new show. But it's kind of like it's kind of, I think, because of the licensing thing, they're kind of just there as a token. They're not actually generating the
IP, so
yeah. So that's all. That's their only affiliation with it. They're not going to be like writing it and co-writing it with all the people from SG-1. So it's kind of like an honorary kind of thing. It's an IP thing.
Yeah, TV shows, whenever you see the reams of executive producers, and quite often, if it's famous actors, they'll be executive, like Mulder and Scully ended up on the X-Files, executive producers. It's just that at this point, you'll pay, you've reached the limit of how much more you can pay them every fucking season. So you make them an executive producer. They don't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Except they take money in.
They just take more money to be involved with it. Yeah, to be affiliated. Yeah. It's weird.
So that's all it is.
Well, that's interesting. And like I said, so we got Strange New Worlds. Monarch Legacy of Monsters finishes this week. I'm going to. I don't know much. I've only seen the first 2. Which I mean, every time I do these things, I always say I've only seen the first 2. But I've decided just to wait until they're all released, then I can just decide to plow through it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
I think this week's the finale.
This one's finale. Yeah, and then maybe. Yeah, I mean, we could potentially do a review of that as well. If Martin's seen it as well, because I think it's strong enough. I think it's well worth a review from what I've seen of it. I've enjoyed it.
I think before we do it, I think I need to see the last movie, Kong Was it Godzilla
Oh,
and Kong New
I need to
Empire?
see that because it's part
I've
of it,
never
isn't it?
seen
It's
that
linked.
one.
It's linked up,
The one
isn't
with
it?
Godzilla's now pink on the back. I think I need to see that
Oh,
one.
I don't know. I've not seen that. The only Godzilla one I saw was there was a Japanese one that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't like it.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was excellent.
Mm.
Right. So before we go on to our folks of the week, any other news? Anything else you want to share with us?
Just Monarch, blah 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 blah. No, I don't
I
really.
can't think of
And there
anything
is.
else.
We're kind of on those low points where there's not much sci-fi coming out, to be honest.
Oh, obviously the
Um,
Mandalorian's coming out in
I
about a
still,
month.
yeah, For All Mankind, I'm just waiting to binge that, and then by the time I binge that, I think Star City is out, which looks interesting because that's the same storyline but from the Russian side.
Yeah, you told
So
me about that.
I'm
Yeah,
good to
yeah.
see that. Yeah, I can't really think of too much else, if I'm honest.
No, that's fine. Okay. I think on that note, then let's go into our focus of the week. Here we go.
Mhm.
It's the Solar Sci-Fi Focus of the Week.
Right, so we are reviewing a movie now. I think Malcolm has just seen this for the first time, so I can't wait to get your perspective because you're quite hard to read. Sometimes you like things more than I expect, and other times you're somewhat more critical, which is not a problem. You know, we've all got our own perspectives. But we're going to review a film called The Mist, which is an excellent movie. Now, I didn't rewatch it this time, but I've seen it a few times. It's from 2007. Obviously it's got the cast of Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane, who's the actual star of this movie, you might know this. He is going to be appearing in the last episode of Strange New Worlds as Dr. McCoy. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've written down to say the same thing, but I had it down as he's in the first episode.
I think it's I don't know. I think it's the last one. You know when?
Yeah, because it's quite interesting because he's 57,
Right.
which is older than DeForest Kelley was when Star Trek.
Yeah, I think he was in his late 40s. He was about 47, wasn't he?
DeForest Kelley was when they did motion picture.
That's it. Yeah, I was going to say because I think McCoy was in his late 40s, or wasn't he when he did McCoy?
Yeah. I think McCoy was 59 for the motion picture. I think I'm not 100%. But yeah, he's done quite a few things. The Expanse he was in. I know.
The early Expanse. I knew that. Yeah, exactly.
He was in the Predator. I don't know if he's the main guy in the Predator.
Oh, was he? I can't remember him.
Yeah, he's definitely in. He's listed as being.
Yeah. And then we also
he's
have
the main guy in Deep Blue Sea. The sharp jumping, arrow pulling.
There's actually a lot of people in it from lots of. I mean, William Sadler's in it, and of course, I loved Luther Sloan from DS9. He's good in that. There's a couple of characters or actors who are both together in the first episodes of The Walking Dead. Laurie Holdham and also Jeffrey. I can't read that. Demon. They were both characters right at the beginning of the outbreak in The Walking Dead. And so obviously it was this creepy kind of supermarket. It starts it gets there. Let me get your perspective. What did you think about
the Carol woman, the one who leaves at the beginning for her kids and appears at the end? She's a major character in The Walking Dead.
Oh, you're right. Of course, she's in it as well, isn't she? Yeah, Carol's in it. Yeah. I forgot. So you have 3 Walking Dead actors all together in this movie. And as a big Walking Dead fan, I thought that was quite interesting. But I forgot about Carol. Yeah, she walks off and she's at the end. Did you like it? What do you think about it?
So, the old Stephen King books are great. Stephen King is a fantastic author.
I know he is. I love Stephen King.
I think he's massively unhinged, to be fair, but he's very good.
Doesn't matter. It's what he writes.
Movies based on his books are notoriously shit.
Yes.
To be fair, they are. But I believe, I can't remember which one it was, but I think one film.
Maximum Overdrive was one. Maximum Overdrive.
One of the more recent one. Obviously one of the last ones he did. That's when he put his foot down and said, "Fuck this! I don't want anybody remaking my book. I don't want anyone making my books into films anymore."
Okay.
It's just nonsense. But I'm not entirely sure if that's an urban myth or whether that's actually true.
Okay.
Let me just say that caveat there. So in terms of this one, to be fair, I quite enjoyed it. I liked it. You can tell more than possibly more than any other adaptation, or most of the other adaptations, but you can tell this is Stephen King's work straight away. the fact that it's all kind of secretive and you don't really know what's going on. Seemingly in the book, it explains a lot more. And there is a scene edited out of the film that does really explain what these monsters are and where they came from.
Okay, because it was always very vague. It was always very vague as to how they came through. And
there's a much bigger bit in there. The film's very budget in West Ham, which I think adds to it.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
I don't mind that. In the supermarket, and I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
There is kind of low key sort of thing, and so I enjoyed that. The cast, as I say, we've been through main guy Laurie Holden. Interestingly enough, Laurie Holden's stepdad is the guy who wrote the screenplay for Logan's Run.
Wow!
And her brother, who's also his stepson, her brother was quite. I don't know if he still is because I'm not in them now. There was Logan's Run group on Facebook that he was in quite a lot, talking about his dad writing a book and all that. And I've had several conversations with him on Facebook, just backwards.
Back and forth.
And even once with Laurie Holden herself, a couple of messages backwards and forwards.
Oh, that's cool. It's always nice when you actually hear from the actual people involved. I love that kind of thing. I remember I got some replies from Jeffrey Coombs of DS9 and even Rene Auberjonois from Odo before he sadly passed away. And you just get a buzz when it's really them replying to you. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I love Logan's Run as well. I thought this film was really... actually, since watching this, I've watched Silent Hill. And there's a bit of a sort of parallel with that, I thought, with this kind of interdimensional kind of leaking through from wherever this thing is. Now, I don't know, because you know about this extra scene, as to why these creatures were seeping through the mist, as it were. It didn't explain everything, but although sometimes, do you think a film needs that explanation, or do you just want to just accept it for what it is, or do you think it needed more of an explanation as to what we actually...
I pendulum on that. Sometimes I want to know, and other times I like it left vague. In this, as much as they tell you in the film, they do really tell you most of it in the film. Is that army base was looking into other dimensions, and then the power cut or storm or whatever the fuck it is that fucked everyone up, caused power cuts there, and that's how the mist and all the creatures leaked here. That's basically what it boils down to.
Okay.
Interestingly, when you see the first one, the tentacle monster, which you never really see again, the tentacle monster was a really odd mix of puppets and not quite good CGI. Like really, really well drawn CGI, but not integrated into the scenes.
Not mixed together so well. Yeah.
It was very obviously, overlaid.
Did you think the special effects were okay? Or obviously that's one example.
The trouble with that is sometimes it's because you're watching it in high def, and it wasn't made
stands
to
out more. And when you used to watch it standard definition, it was about,
near as blurry as it should have been.
Right.
Just sidebar, I'm watching Game of Thrones yet again, and it's in 4K, and I've kind of cranked my TV onto Vivid, and it does. I said to Mrs. last night, I said it doesn't. It almost, you can almost tell it's studio filmed now. You needed that kind of blurry edge to make it look realistic.
Make it more, to give it that perspective.
I'm too far the other way now, and then you can tell that it's costumes and stuff because of the 4K stuff. But anyway, back to the other one. I had a problem with the blood, particularly when the guy gets chunks ripped out of him. Blood's a tough one to pull off, to be fair, but it's always shite when it's just red paint. Don't flour and make the blood dark. Arterial blood is almost black when it comes out.
Yeah, very dark. Yes, I know.
And its handprint on the wall was very obviously. I've seen going to any kindergarten, you'll see handprints like that on the wall in that particular shade of red. It just so it doesn't really take me out of it, but it's just always a little bit more attention to detail. If you're going to wound somebody, wound them, or just don't wound them at all like that.
If it's not going to be done properly, okay. I've got it.
I like the I like the slow descent into fucking a split in a thing, the madness, which goes back to what I was saying with Voyager earlier on. Imagine that kind of them and us dynamic for half of the season on Voyager. The Marquis and the Federation. Oh, imagine that dynamic.
Yeah.
And all that. Maybe the stabbing the guy, fucking, and then throwing him outside, and maybe the airlock, one of the marquee guys, because he fucking I don't know, steals something or that. It just, I know it's a bit dark for Star Trek, but fucking so what? I want dark Star Trek. I want it fucking brutal. I want it. There was nothing.
Year of Hell.
The best Strange New World scene is the one with the young kid that he tries to save, and the kid dies in the end anyway.
Yeah, that was an early season 1 episode. That was actually when Strange New World started off pretty good, and we thought this is what we want to see, and then it fucks it up.
Yeah, I love an episode like that where you've got to walk away tail between your legs, knowing you fucking failed. I think that's great. That's great storytelling. But hey ho, yeah. So that's good. The final now. Cards on the table. I knew the ending to the film before I see it,
okay.
So I knew what was coming.
So you knew the twist. Obviously, spoilers at this point, everybody. So if you haven't seen it, to be warned.
Yeah. So I knew what was coming. I knew they were going to be in the car, and I knew this. His reaction at the end to what he's done is phenomenal. I mean, that's fucking
good acting. Good acting. Good acting.
Yeah, that was great. Just that absolute despair.
That shock ending, and that's the end. It's sort of like it pans off. He's in the car, and the car drives away, and he's just like he lost everything.
Not even because he's like he's gone wandering for a couple of weeks, but it's minutes later.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, and suddenly it turns back. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering with the big fucker at the end that makes them make that decision has kind of tentacly sort of things. And I'm wondering if that's supposed to be the original under the door one that drags the very first guy away. You couldn't really tell. That doesn't appear anywhere else. It's all spiders and flies from that point.
Now, just to interrupt you, unfortunately, because I think we talk about Voyager so much, we've only got 1 minute 35. So, shall we just put this on pause, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes? Sorry to interrupt you mid-flow, but I think we've got more. We can't finish in a minute and a half of this discussion. So, we'll be right back, guys.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We're back. So, we're obviously in the middle of a conversation on The Mist. The last things we talk about is people that we obviously saw from other shows and TV movies that we're familiar with. And I think you were just talking about the actual the shock ending which you're aware of. So continue with what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah. So his reaction at the end to what he's done is phenomenal. But if you rewind it sort of 20 minutes, his reaction when he finds his wife is not good enough. I just thought, that's your fucking wife. If I saw my fucking missus stuck to a fucking wall with fiber webs, knowing that there's billions of spiders fucking inside her, I'm gonna fucking lose it. You know?
Yeah.
And all he kind of says, particularly because that's his fault as well, because he says, I told her I was going to repair the windows. So he knows that he's the reason
that happened. Yeah.
And all that. So he went from a not very good reaction to an absolute fucking textbook reaction, which I thought was quite interesting. I blame the director rather than the actor for that faux pas.
I mean, I suppose that they have to sort of focus based on the actual writing of the original book, but whether that was something which was in the original writing, which
no,
I don't know because I've never read.
In the original book, they just drive off until they find open air. Apparently,
okay.
So I read yesterday. Yeah, if somebody wants to kind of call and say "fuck off," I've read the book a million times. That's not what happens. But that's what I read yesterday. Is the original ending is they just drive off and come across the army.
The thing is, I never have a chance to read books, but everything I've read from Stephen King, I've loved so much. And they're normally so much better than any adaptations for TV movies or regular movies. One of the best books I ever read was Misery.
Misery is great.
And the book, I mean, the movie's great. The movie's great.
Not a bad movie. They missed out quite a lot of the key points of the book, like the fact that the sheriff in the film is an idiot, whereas in the book he's very fucking clued up. I think.
Yeah, it was the other way around.
It might be the other way around.
No, he wasn't. I know he was cottoning onto it in the movie, so maybe
I did see a few weeks back an actress who was odds on to play Annie Wilkes before they settled on Kathy Bates, and I wish I could remember, because it was one of those like what the fuck moments. It was like, that's never going to work. Oh, I don't know though, or maybe it was one of those.
You get like a double take. You give it.
It's probably on the IMDb trivia bit at the bottom. I don't know if it's there or not, but that's probably the easiest place to find it.
Check out. Yeah, I mean, after I've done this, I'll have a look and see if there's any more information about that.
Yeah.
But
favorite books of his for me, it is brilliant. I've read it like a million times. The original 2-part thing is all right. It's not too bad. The newest one is crap. It is crap. I started to watch Welcome to Derry, and I wasn't overly. I only got halfway. I wasn't overly impressed with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting sidetracked. Back to the mist.
Yeah, that's fine.
The Mist of Doom. So
I mean, the thing is, like I said, it was quite an interesting concept, and so this was a parallel reality with these creatures obviously inhabit, and they leaked into our reality. There was something parallel with ours. So
seemingly, Stephen King is very good at tying his books together and making it the same universe, same world. Basically, he often repeats characters or mentions scenes, and seemingly, if you've read the Dark Tower books, which I haven't, that explains more about who these creatures are. I don't know how, I don't know what way, I don't know if they feature in it or what have you, but seemingly Dark Tower is tied to this film's other dimension in some way.
Yeah. As you say, I mean, this film had a limited budget. Most of the scenes were basically in a supermarket, which was quite interesting. But as we've already acknowledged, you don't need millions and millions of dollars to make a movie, especially in this sort of genre, to make it better. I kind of like more sort of basic financed older movies than all the flash that you get.
Yeah, I mean, we've said many times, if your budget's not good and your special effects are not good, then you have to have a decent story and decent acting, decent production values to make it watchable. So you're forced to make a decent story if your budget's not good enough. And that, again, without retreading, that again is half the problem today. It's all flash bang, wow, lens flares, fucking want them. They don't need to bother about the story because everyone would be so impressed with the fireworks display. And One thing I did think when I was watching the film, though,
what's that?
Because I like to see how I would react in certain things. 100% after I've shot dopey bloody preacher woman, and I would have shot her. I don't know how many bullets that guy had. We don't know. I don't think it ever says how many he's got. I know he's only got 4 at the end, but he could add loads in his pocket. All that. I guarantee you, if I had enough bullets, I'm 100% telling everyone in that fucking supermarket that was responsible for throwing that kid outside, I'm going to count to 10. You're going to open that door, run outside and take your fucking chances. And anyone who doesn't go, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking kneecaps and then drag you out there. So run or fucking go out the way he did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because absolute worst case scenario, I say I don't have enough bullets. Worst case scenario, when I'm driving off in the car at the end and they're all at the window gawping, I'm going to reverse my car into the fucking door and smash the car to let them miss in. Fuck everyone in that supermarket. Fuck them all. Absolutely.
Do you know what? I think probably they're very grateful that you weren't there in the movie, mate. I think that it would have been a whole different. It would have been a very different take if Malcolm Patterson was in that supermarket by that front door with your shotgun or something. It could have been very different. So anything else? I mean, like I said, I think it's a movie where you could talk about, but it's quite a standalone aspect of, they're trapped, weird things outside, they've got to get away. It's not like a big kind of movie where it goes from scene to scene, a location to location. It is a basic premise. Now, I love films like that. Another film that I liked, which was, it was in the same room, but it was different rooms, was Cube. It's kind of like, you can get these movies which
I've seen the first one. I don't remember much of it, but I've seen the first one.
Yeah, it's got the guy that played Roddy McKay in Stargate, and also Esri Dax, Nico DeBall's in it as well. I love Cube. We did review it ages ago before you joined us, and we both liked it. There is a prequel and a sequel, which I kind of remember. But again, the reason I'm tying that into this conversation is that you get certain movies where they're in a very limited standalone environment for the most part, and this movie was a good example of that. And I think that I liked that a lot. And I think that's why, for me, it works quite well.
Let's look at the original Saw movie, which is absolutely
never seen that.
The original Saw movie, the first one you've got to watch. The first one is fucking phenomenal. But it's so cool. It was written by 2 Australian guys, and the original idea behind it is mostly filmed in the bathroom between the guys that are chained up. If you've never seen the film, this is not going to make a lot of sense to you.
Right.
When it then got a little bit of a budget, was being made into a bigger film, they then added some of the other scenes in to make the storyline
to make it
more than just two guys in it.
Yeah.
But it's an absolute masterpiece. You could arguably make that whole film on stage, which is my thing for a top film. You wouldn't need many sets. Even the stuff that's done on different sets, you could pull it off. You could have set changes and pull it off, because you don't need that many sets to do it. And the ones that came after it are a shameless cash grab. I know people like them, but the first one was psychologically fucking brilliant.
When was it made?
90s maybe.
So it's one that I've got so many movies I've never watched. I've still never watched The Exorcist. Never have, and I've got it, and I've never watched it. And
remade.
Yeah, but again, I wouldn't watch the remake first. I'd watch the original one.
Yeah.
And the worst,
who's going to be the remake is some woman we know, some woman from the sci-fi world. I think is going to be in it.
Okay.
I can't for the life of me think who it is. I'll look it up for next time.
The worst remake I ever saw was The Hills of Eyes. I think I mentioned it again recently. Terrible movie, absolutely terrible. But again, as you say, it's the horror. Again, it's always going back to these things are remade because the producers, the companies, always feel it's safer to remake something with the chance of it making more money than a new creative storyline.
I think I sent you that away. In 2025, the amount of movies that were franchise based, or remakes, sequels, reboots, or tried to in some way existing franchises. 12% of the total output of films, but they garner 80% of the marketing, because they are guaranteed cash builders, because they will make their money back. People will go and see them. They will always make money.
They're familiar with it.
They will always go and see them because they're familiar with the bit. And also, shows will focus on it because they want people watching it. You're more likely to watch an episode of fucking Film 90 if they're reviewing the new Star Wars movie than if they're reviewing the new film that's coming out, Billy Takes a Poo.
Billy Takes a Poo.
And then social media fucking content creator people, they are more likely to focus on something for the same reason. The familiarity is what's going to get your full views, your likes, your clicks, your shares. So that's why they do it. And then remakes and all that are counted in terms of films. I don't know if this included TVs when I looked, but in terms of films, 47% of revenue came from franchise-based films. So that tells you how much of a money spinner they are. But it's only 12% of their output. It's just people they aren't aware of the other stuff, or they're not looking for it, or they're not interested in it. They're just looking for whatever shows up on their Facebook feed to tell them the new film's coming out.
I think a rarity which has come up recently, which I really want to see, is Project Hail Mary.
I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to.
But it's done really well in the box office, and it's obviously based on the book. But the more I'm hearing about it, it's been quite successful, and I like to go into a movie without a reference of a prequel or or a remake or something.
A lot of the 3D and model building communities part of and all that have this. There's a little character called Rocky, and it's
which is like a puppet thing.
And all that. That's very big. People are the people in the community are making loads of replicas of that. Everybody seems to be making those.
But I kind of respect the fact that they went out there and it made its money. It's going to be in profit, which is unusual. So now going back to The Mist, did you know that they made a TV version of it?
I saw something just before I came on when I was looking something up that was talking about a remake, but I never got as far as whether that was a remake in the works or a remake that had happened since.
There was a TV version, and it was terrible. I can't remember it, but it was awful. It was this. I'm sure it was The Mist. Let's think of something else, but I'm sure there was a remake of The Mist. Do you know what? I'm sure it was a long time ago. But I actually haven't not talking about my ass, but I'm sure there was a TV.
I know they remade The Fog.
Yeah, no. I'm sure it was The Mist. Let me see. The Mist. Maybe I'm talking absolute crap now. I could have sworn. Yeah, 2017, The Mist. I'm not going crazy. Yeah, it was a 10-episode series. After an eerie mist rolls into a small town, blah, 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 blah. And I
seem to remember watching a couple of episodes. I don't think I finished it. It's only got 5.4 in the Internet Movie Database, so I think it was pretty shite. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty low.
just to go back to the Fog one, I rewatched the original of that recently. The
I
Jamie Lee
love the
Curtis
original.
one.
I love the original.
It is great. It is great. It's a little bit boring now. It drags a little bit. It's still good.
So it's a remake. They remade the Fog.
It's still got a great story.
They
remade it with the blonde lassie from season 1 of Lost.
I
don't know if that was.
Is that the one that was pregnant? The one that was pregnant in it?
I've got no idea. I just know she's a young kind of diva, and she gets killed off in the first series.
But you can't replace Adrian Barbeau.
No.
I liked a bit of Adrian Barbeau.
What I love is I love the end of the Fog when they think it's all over and the priest thinks he's got away with it and he's got that gold cross and he turns around and the pirate behind him and fucking burns him.
Yeah,
that's a great ending. I thought that was fantastic when I was a kid.
Yeah, bloody scary as shit.
That.
I remember the sort of phantoms knocking on the window, tap, 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 tap. I loved it. I think it's a great movie. It's very cheesy.
Yeah, I mean, therein lies the Fog had the added fear of the fact that it's fog. It can get under doors and through windows, and the guys, by the very nature, get in that way. Yeah. Whereas the Mist, I was sort of halfway through. I was kind of surprised that the Mist is constantly outside, and all they have to do is keep the doors shut.
Yeah,
thinking get in and get at them. I found that an odd way to go. Not an odd way to go, but I just found that a decision.
It's funny because, like I said, it was a supermarket and the door was sealed. But if it had been like a boring mid-terraced house in Guildford or something, then maybe the Mist would have gone under or gone through your letterbox or something, and then you would have got some sort of creature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the key. Is it like in the Fog, the Mist brings the pirate guys?
Yes,
they
sort
of travel in it. Yeah. Whereas in this, is it just the Mist is there because it's come from their home world and they just happen to have come with the Mist and all that? Or
again,
is
it wasn't answered.
How they are traveling? It doesn't really.
It
doesn't really tell you that.
I mean, I would say don't watch the Mist TV version. Would you say watch the Fog remake?
The Fog remake, it's a long time now because it came out just after the first season.
You piqued my curiosity. Now you mentioned it, I might want to try it out.
I think I turned it off halfway through.
Oh no!
I think I'm not 100%.
But if you're not sure, that's not. It's not. Yeah.
It definitely wasn't good. It definitely wasn't good.
All right. Okay. Maybe I won't bother. There's no point in having something if you're not, or check or get something if you're not going to enjoy it. So. Anything else to talk about the Mist before we wrap up? Any other aspects, or I think we pretty much covered quite a lot of it.
No. As you say, it's got a good cast. There's loads of people bouncing up in it. You know, William Sadler, one of my favourite.
Yeah, I love William Sadler.
Does so many great roles. One of my favourite roles he did, and I don't know if you ever watched it. The TV series called Roswell High.
No, I never saw that.
So he kind of plays a sheriff in that's kind of chasing these aliens. It is a good series. It is good. I recommend it. I don't think I ever watched it all the way to the end, but halfway through, I think after the first or second season, they leave the school and go on the run. And that's why it's not called Roswell High anymore. And but I enjoyed that. His character in that as a sheriff, really good, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him in loads of things. He was in The Outer Limits, the episode where he's in a wheelchair and he's involved with this new sort of scientific thing where they made the first android, and the android is a caretaker for his character with disabilities, but his character falls in love with somebody else, a new sort of potential girlfriend, and then the android starts to get jealous and starts to try to sort of like kill the girlfriend. It's not the most original premise, but it was a good episode. And William Sadler, and he wasn't in they did a sequel, but he wasn't in the sequel. But obviously Deep Space Nine, he was great in. He was in he was in Bruce Willis. What's that Bruce Willis Christmas movie? There's a sequel. What's it called? The one Bruce Willis, and he's normally stuck in an airport or something, and there's a terrorist attack.
Oh, Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah, I can't think of it. Yeah, I'm so fatigued, my head's Die Hard 2, and Colin Meaney's in it as well. And William Sadler's character kills Colin Meaney, who's a British captain on a Boeing 747, and he keeps going, I've got you, and the plane plummets into
And I tell you an odd thing. I always get William Sadler mixed up with another actor, and you'll know the actor. I'll explain two roles he did, and you'll know him straight away. He was in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode where Rom and Quark end up on Earth, and he played like the military general. But more famously from Trek, he's in
He was the
Star
hippie
Trek,
guy. He was in the
plays
hippie
fucking
guy. I know
guy,
him. Yes.
fantastic guy.
Yes.
And from what I've
Hail,
read,
brother.
people want him to hate that fucking role, and apparently he loves it. I'm sure I've read that.
Oh, he's a good actor.
Like,
yeah,
oh, you
I've
must
seen
be
a few other
embarrassed that he
things.
loved that bit.
No, he was great. I loved him singing in the hippie episode, and of course he was in Roswell in Little Green Men. He was in with Mark and everything. I didn't know those two actors got mixed up actually.
No.
But,
and you got I think there's I can't remember his name, but he's in the Marvel films, so particularly the Captain America runs as one of the bad guys. What's his name? Alto Zoran. I don't know, the mad genius that works with the Red Skull. He's in that. Zorg. I don't know, Zoran. I don't know. He's in there anyway.
I can't remember that one.
He's in that, and there's a couple of other faces in the background that you kind of remember. They definitely, I don't know if they spent a fortune on cast, but they definitely didn't skimp out by going down the local, getting down the local acting school and just getting a couple of nobody's ever heard of them.
All the actors. I quite like the actor that played the neighbour, where they started off, and I think somebody's like a tree hit his house or something. There was something where there was an issue.
So Andre Boa.
I liked him
2 or 3 years ago
because they started off as like antagonists, and then they sort of they try to make up, and they go to them too.
He's fantastic in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's so funny in that. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you have to watch. It is funny as fuck. You have to.
Well, is it another show, or is it a TV movie, or what?
It's a TV series, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But he's got a little fucking, I think it's a pug called Cheddar. And he's the captain of the police station, and his pug goes missing, and the main guy in it. It's been so long since I watched it. The main guy in it brings he either brings another pug, or he brings the wrong pug, one of the two. And it's just the way Andre Boa in that deadpan thing looks. He goes, "That's not Cheddar. That's just some common bitch." And all that. His delivery of that line is just. I mean, there's a fucking meme that's just
stands out.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. If it's still on Netflix, give a couple of episodes a go. It's funny as fuck.
All right, mate.
It's good.
Well, look, let's wrap things up this movie. So let's first of all give it a rating out of 10. So I will give it. I'm actually going to give this quite a high rating because I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10.
You know what, right? I was just toying backwards and forwards, but I reckon I'd land on an 8 as well. I think it was really well done for something that I imagine was done on a shoestring budget or a very limited budget. I think they did really well. And like I said, Stephen King's work does not often translate onto the screen.
Yes,
because
it's a rarity.
There's so much exposition in his writing. It's very
you just can't grab that. You can't actually exactly.
And I think they did it really well. And if they have changed the ending to the book to this ending, it's up there with the ending to Planet of the Apes as a fantastic.
It's kind of like
holy change to what the author did.
Can you imagine coming out of the cinema after that ending, like, oh my god, you know what I mean? That'd be I get that. I completely agree with that. And so, well done to all the people that actually made this adaptation. And I suppose my last question is: would you have this as part of your collection?
I would have it on the shelf. It wouldn't. I don't think it'd be something that I would ever flick on and watch myself again. But I would certainly, if I'm bored, flick it on. Have a look at this then for somebody else. Like, for instance, my missus wasn't with me when I watched it. I watched it while I was at work.
Right.
Which I imagine any of the viewers that watch this, they go, "Well, you're at work. You're watching films. They must just fucking hate me."
So he's got the best job in the world, isn't he? Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, it's just part of it. Yeah, I
was talking to a guy I used to work with in another job about Voyager, because he's like, Voyager is his #1 Star Trek show, and he's gone like, "Oh, you're going to get all the way through it," and he said, "That's it." I said, "That'll take me about 2 weeks to get through all the seasons." And he's like, "Really?" I said, "I can watch pretty much 11 episodes a day." Wow. I'm not watching 11 episodes a day. I'm watching other stuff because I don't want to feed myself on it and get bored. And
see, unfortunately, I'm always driving. My work is all driving, so I can't do much at all. Apart from, I mean, obviously we text each other, and of course I can't reply during the day that often because I'm behind the wheel. But it's funny because I'd love to do that. I mean, just imagine all these. I mean, some of these shows that you and Martin talked to me about, which I've never get the chance to watch because I don't. I really most of my time I'm watching YouTube when I come home. I don't watch a lot of TV apart from obviously some new stuff, but I watch hardly any. I don't watch anything live at all. And I don't know. I just sit down at my desktop and I just all the stuff I follow, and it's
See, I
just the
can't
way I
watch
am.
anything live anymore because I don't have a TV license. I
Well,
refuse
no,
to
I
pay
mean,
the-
we do pay a TV license, but only because my wife watches a few things. I don't watch anything, but then of course you shouldn't have to pay a TV license if you don't watch anything live. But I mean, you hear all the stories
Well,
about people.
controversial, but they're losing so much money now. They're trying
Yeah,
to get the
people have
government
had
to
enough. I
change.
mean, we have talked about this
But
before, but people have
the
had
first thing
enough.
they want to change is they want to stop it having to be reviewed every 10 years. They want to
Hmm.
just make it's what we say. And the second thing is they want to make it so everyone has so everyone
YouTube,
has
they
to
were
pay it.
also
So
YouTube.
yeah, so they want to add it onto your council tax.
Yeah,
So you're charged whether you like it or not. And then the other one, as you say, they're trying to. So the reason people are doing it is because people like me, I don't watch live TV. I don't watch
no,
TV. I watch my
a lot of
Netflix,
people
I watch
don't.
Amazon, I
A
watch
lot of people
DVDs.
don't.
Uh,
Yeah,
so now they want to include them as
yeah.
well.
So if you look at
And
YouTube, but that's not live. So why should you have to? Unless it's live
yeah,
content on you, because
yeah.
obviously they can stream stuff live on
Yeah.
their accounts.
So yeah, you can't watch that, and you can't watch. So like Netflix will have um sporting venues that are shown live. I can't
No,
watch
you can't
those.
watch live
I
sport
don't
on
anyway, so I don't
streaming.
give a
No, I
shit.
don't. No, I don't
And
either.
then
I
and
don't either.
most streaming services, Now TV, Apple, I think does Paramount, maybe not Apple, but they have a live channel. So they have where they're broadcasting live that you can go down and click on and just watch whatever they're broadcasting. I can't watch those either. But then again, I
Well,
don't. I
what they
want to watch
should
live.
do, they should give you a package where that's not an option.
And this is the thing. Hashtag go fund yourself, which is the
Yeah,
thing for the BBC. We're
yeah.
not interested. If you think your content is that good, then
Which is not. Which is not.
go subscription
Yeah,
or go advert based.
yeah.
Yeah, and fund yourself
Solves the
like all
whole
the fucking
problem.
rest of them
Solves the
have
whole
to.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get so angry
And
about it.
the reason they won't do it is because they know their
Nobody will watch
biased
it.
fucking mouthpiece bullshit. Fucking no one would subscribe to it.
Nobody will subscribe to it. That's the whole thing. And I think Labour, I'm not going to go political, but I think Labour are more pro BBC than Conservatives. Is that right? Or is it the other way around? I think it's Labour that's more pro it. Whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that the next few years we're going to see a serious ending or serious change in the whole perspective of this TV licensing. Obviously, this is the UK we're talking about here. This isn't obviously in. I know South Africa has a TV license as well. America doesn't, but we don't need it. They don't make anything that I like anymore.
I don't even think we
And
need the BBC. The BBC.
I don't think we do.
I don't think they've made a decent TV series in 15 years.
I
To be
can't
brutally
think of the
honest.
last
They're a
thing I
waste of
saw.
time.
When was Life on Mars made? That was brilliant. That's been 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
The War of the Worlds that we made was shite. No, it's. I mean, like I said, most shows that the BBC makes, I'm not interested anyway. They're very, very sports based, which is fun if you like sport, but I'm not a sports fan at all. So, yeah, just go if they want to exist, as you already said, they could really it wouldn't work. Is to either go streaming or go into an advertising. But ITV still survives. They're advertising.
And most of the streaming services I subscribe to, I pay the lower rate for the ads because I honestly don't give a shit.
Fair enough.
What does bug me a little bit is I just subscribed to on via Amazon Prime. I just subscribed to HBO Max because a lot of the shows I like, Game of Thrones, and that are on that. But that's really funny. You get an advert at the beginning, and you get 3 or 4 during the show, and all the ones during the show are a selection of 4 melee adverts that last about 7 seconds. So the show just stops. You get an advert for.
So it's like a YouTube ad. It's like a YouTube ad.
Yeah. Basically, it's a melee dishwasher, but they're not even as long as YouTube ads. They're like literally 5 or 7 seconds. And
Is that all it is? That's not true.
I said to my missus, just put a 5-minute fucking advert at the beginning.
That'd be better.
You have to sit through.
But then, and also the advertisers. The thing is, it's like it's back in the old days where we used to watch 5 minutes of adverts on ITV until your programs. Now that'd be better because then the advertisers know that. But then maybe the streaming people are saying, well, look, then we're not going to get the hits. We're not going to get the view count because people are thought bollocks to this, and that's probably why they don't do that. And so the 7-second things. But that would actually get on my nerves.
Just make it a different advert on every. You don't make it the same advert.
Yeah,
the same product,
that
does my head in a little bit.
Yeah, that would do my head in as well. So yeah, interesting. Good. Okay, Malcolm. Well, thank you very much. It's been a good chat. We have got in some tangents, but that's fine. It's always great to talk to you about all sorts of different things. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing next when we come back. Obviously, you and Martin, we can discuss any ideas. You know, Martin's normally got some obscure movie I've never heard about, and you know a few movies as well I've not seen. So we'll see what we're doing next. But hopefully, it should be the next episode should be about 2 weeks after the release of this one. So thank you very much, Malcolm.
I just need you to dive into Firefly, Buffy, and Rick and Morty. And I know you're averse to animated stuff, but I'm telling you, you will forget Rick and Morty's an animated series very, very quickly.
Well, I tell you, I will, because you've been going on about this for a long time. But what I will do, and I mean, my friend Jay on Tacky on Pulse, you know, he's always said to me, you've got to watch Firefly, and I never have done. And it's only like 10 episodes or 12 episodes or something. It's not very many. Yeah. I mean, I do that. I mean, I rewatched the Blake 7, and that was quite good. Blake 7 was good. And then we did Airwolf. So I do my homework, and you do your homework as well, Malcolm, which is always appreciated. So thank you for checking out the movie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And this has been a great episode. So thank you very much. And we'll see you next time on the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
I wonder if this will open that door. I can't deal with this!